We're heading to Spain and Garage Brewery for this brand new beer from them. This is called Ace Dorado and it is an IPA with Yakima Chief hops. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're heading to Spain and to Garage Beer Brewing. Very good brewery, this in Spain. I'm trying to think whether they're, I think they're in Barcelona, but I could be wrong. And this is Ace Dorado. It's an IPA, 6.6%, and it says it's with a Yakima Chief hop, so it's their sort of different hop blend. But there's quite a lot of different hops in it. I'm going to get my glasses to read them on here so I can see them all. The hops in this are Idaho 7 Cryo, El Dorado Cryo, Citra, HBC 586 and Nelson Sauvin. So it's quite a lot of different hops, lots of different types of flavours. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's crack it open and get it in the glass and see what it's all about. I've had a few from Garage before, but you know, it's not one of those sort of breweries that you see loads from. But this one piqued my interest just because of all the different sort of hops, really. And obviously with the cryo hops, the Yakima Chief cryo hops, it gives you a little bit more oomph in the flavour. And I'm actually pleased that after lots of terrible pours, this one has poured very nicely. So, beer in a glass, look at that. Beautiful, bright, well, I mean, it's bright yellow, golden colour here. Yeah, in the screen, it looks pretty similar to what it does in real life. It's very bright yellow, very inviting. We've got literally a finger of head. That's not going to stick around long. And already there's loads of different pungent aromas. I think we're going to be quite difficult to unpack all the different aromas in this, but let's see what we can come up with. Oh, it smells really, really good. There's so much, lots of citrus, lots of very sweet tropical sort of notes. You know, papaya, mango. Yeah, there's a bit of passion fruit in there as well. There's orange and peach and apricot. There's lots of aromas. There's a bit of melon in there, a bit of gooseberry. I know there's Nelson Sauvin, that does lead me sometimes to those sort of, you know, I know they're very pungent aromas, but yeah, I wouldn't say Nelson Sauvin is as pungent within this mix. There's just so much going on. It smells really great, really incredible. I mean, if you could, it's difficult to really describe how pungent of different aromas there are. It's like every sort of tropical fruit you can think of. You know, pretty much any kind of fruit you can pick out there in this. It smells really good. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Wow. I mean, you got all those different hops in it, and there's a hell of a lot of them in it because straight away you get a huge hoppy sort of taste come through. Almost a little bit of hop burn. So much hop flavour. It's lots of it's like the aroma. There's so much flavour. It's difficult to unpack the different flavours you're getting in this. So we start with the mouthfeel. It's quite thin, really, in terms of mouthfeel. It's I'd say it's pretty light bodied, which probably I thought with all those hops you were going to get a bit more body to it. It's quite thin. Flavours: oranges, passion fruit, lemons, limes, grapefruit. Yeah, I wouldn't say that the peach and the apricot, which I was getting in the aroma, is really coming through in the flavours. There's also a bit of honeydew melon, guava. Oh, there's lots of flavours in this. For me, there's a real sharpness in there as well. There's grapefruit. There's a little bit of pine and resin coming through as well. But it's almost like the flavour is it's just like it's hop flavour. It's just like there's so much hoppiness going into it. It's really difficult to sort of really unpick the different sort of fruit flavours in here. You don't get much of the Nelson Sauvin, that's what I would say. But there's lots of, you know, you can tell that there's Citra in this. It's got that very Citra twang. And Citra always gives tropical and citrus fruits, and this is just what this has got. What were the other hops? Obviously El Dorado. I'm trying to think what I mean. El Dorado is usually your sort of tropical, your mango, your passion fruit, your papaya, those sort of flavors. What was the other one it's got in here? Citra. Oh, this HBC 586, which, yeah, I'm not quite sure what flavors that brings. Usually that's a bit of a mix as well. That brings some of the, you know, even some of the sort of strawberry and those sort of flavors. It's a very hoppy beer. You know, if there's one takeaway, it's a very hoppy beer. You're getting lots and lots of different flavours crashing around and crashing against each other. So it's difficult to pick out, but you can taste that there's loads of fruit and flavour. The hops really work hard. Obviously, Yakima Chief hops, they're probably the freshest hops. You know, they're, as I say, it's very hoppy. I just wonder whether if it was a bit, you know, a bit older. See if it's got a date on it. I'll see if I can pick out the date. Try and put it the right way around. Canned on the 20. Oh, is that 25th? Actually, canned on the 29th of June. We're in mid-August now. You know, mid to late August. We're in now, third week of August. So it's not. I wouldn't say it was that fresh. It is best before the end of the year as well, which is a bit of a strange one. It's given a 6 month sort of shelf life. But for me, very hoppy. I think it would have done better if it had less hops in it. And maybe, you know, the fact that it's got all these different types of hops. And Nelson, El Dorado, Citra, HBC 586. It's not as if they're all sort of similar. You don't see many beers with those hops in them. And I think sometimes they can hit against each other a little bit and I wouldn't say cancel each other out, but I don't think if I'd seen it, any hop names on it, I would have ever said there was Nelson in this. It's there in the background. There's a bit of grape, there's a bit of gooseberry, and there's a bit of melon, but there's all these other flavours coming in as well that almost over dominates it. I'm trying to think how, you know, to say if it's a good beer or not. I think it's quite different than a lot of beers that I've had recently. As I say, it's very hoppy. I think it's missing a little bit in its body. It's a little bit thin. It's not watery in flavour. Certainly there's loads of flavour in it, but in terms of the sort of mouthfeel, it's almost sort of sitting there like a pale ale. But it's quite a soft body though at the same time. I like it. I think it's just too hoppy. I think it's just not used to all those hops really. But 6.6% El Dorado, Ace Dorado, sorry, is what it's called. It's a very good beer. And it's obviously got this, I'm not sure where the baked beans come into it, but it's got baked beans on the outside of it. I'm not sure where that comes into anything. It doesn't taste like baked beans at all. It's not a bad beer. I would give it a recommended, but we'll get the scores in just a minute. So, let's get the scores. Okay, the scores are in for Ace Dorado. This is a Yakima Chief hopped beer, and there's lots of hops. We've got El Dorado, we've got HBC 586, we've got Citra Cryo, we've got an Idaho 7 Cryo, we've got Nelson Sauvin. There's lots going on. There's too much hops in my opinion, really. I mean, I do think that single hop beers can sometimes be a little bit, I don't know, plain. But when you're starting to have all these different types of hops in there, sometimes they can sort of, you know, to get that right blend you've got to be a real master of your craft to get the right blend when you're using 4 or more different types of hops. And I think it just doesn't quite work on this beer. Still good though. So let's get the scores. Starting with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. I think this was just under £6, so not the cheapest, but it is a Spanish beer, usually a little bit more expensive than the UK beers. And finally, my overall experience. Tighten the scores up. Yeah, we're getting a recommended, not quite highly recommended, but still recommended beer. I don't know whether it's just, it's just a little bit hoppy, too hoppy. There's a little bit of hop burn in there. The hops a little bit green, and it's sort of, you don't get the fruit flavors coming out and being as sort of zesty and fruity as you would like, really. But maybe it's say drinking a can in 3 months time, it could be a different beer altogether, but still good beer, and Garage make good beers. So Ace Dorado, let me know if you've had it. Let me know what your favorite Garage beer is. I mean, Soup seems to be their sort of big one, but I don't know. I have had that. I don't even know if I've reviewed it, but I've definitely drank it before, and I thought it was all right. But yeah, it needs more body. I think I need to get the oats up in this beer. But let me know if you've had another Garage beer and what you recommend from them. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Obviously, we've got lots of beer reviews here. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Really, you'll get notified of the beers coming out. We're still a little bit sporadic with the beer reviews. I'm just basically, this summer I've just been reducing the amount of beer I've been drinking for health reasons, really. And that's really why the reviews are a little bit less than they normally are. But hopefully, after a while, I'll be getting to a point where, yeah, I've got the taste for this beer. I need to start drinking more beer. There's so many good beers. There's lots that have passed me by. But let me know what's your favourite beers at the moment. And until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.